My dream is to go to China.
My boyfriend and I want to travel to China.
One of the most remarkable things that has been happening since Americans joined Shanghushu is to see the number of Americans who are now desiring to move to China. From the interactions that Americans have been having with Chinese on Rednote, they're starting to realize that life could be way better in China than it is in the United States. Let's check this clip.
Hi everyone, I just got a delivery from the supermarket and I want to show you guys what did I buy and how much it cost. And include 10 roses. So how much will cost in your city? Include the delivery fee, I've paid in total 117.43 yuan. What would you think?
You are a Chinese watching this video right now. This question is for you. Why is that at all the time when Americans mention about moving into your country or migrating into your country and becoming citizens, you tell them visit. Is it hard to become a citizen in your country? And what if this happens? Because I've heard it from many Americans. What if they become actual refugees, real refugees? What are you going to do?
Hey, listen guys, I might be a TikTok refugee, but can I be a real refugee? Like, can somebody sponsor me or something? China looks awesome.
Relax, this video isn't about moving to China. We are going to explore the do's and don'ts when you go to China. Things that so many people are saying, I wish I knew this before traveling to China. So these are the things that you're going to explore here.
One thing that is super important for me to ask is, what are the do's and don'ts? Because as somebody who moved from Germany to the United States, lived in Spain before, I know that every country has their own do's and don'ts. And I definitely noticed some things that are, for instance, totally normal in the US, but there would be a big don't in Germany and the other way around. So just to give you an example, in the US, it's completely normal to just eat with a fork without a knife. That is something that's considered super unfriendly in Germany. You would not do that, especially not in a restaurant. And there's like a bunch of other things too. So let me know, what are do's and don'ts in China when it comes to food, when it comes to talking to people, basically like everything that I need to know so that I don't embarrass myself.
Avoid these 3 huge mistakes before you go to China.
I hate China. Okay, hate is probably a strong word. I dislike China.
The worst thing about going to China is you come back to the shops, you come to the mall, like you can see I'm at Canal Walk right now. And I literally can't buy anything because everything I look at, I'm like, that's so expensive. Like, I know exactly how much it gets made for in China. And you look at the prices here and you're like, nah, that's just exorbitant. I'm not spending that much money on something that costs X, Y, Z. But yeah.
5 reasons why you should never visit China. China is too diverse.
Every province is different and it's like visiting many different countries in one.
The culture is too ancient.
You may have a cultural shock and end up loving it.
People are too friendly.
They love to see foreigners and you will end up by making new friends every day.
Their juices and tea are too delicious.
You may gain some weight.
It's too safe.
You may get used to walk alone at 3 a.m. or leave your bag and find it in the same place.
Want to avoid the crowds? Here's when not to travel China. Avoid these holidays. New Year's Day, January 1st, 3 days off. Chinese people join the world to celebrate the new year. Number 2, Lunar Chinese New Year. Check the lunar calendar or Google for exact dates. It's the biggest holiday in China. Number 3, Qingming Festival. 3 days off in April. It's a time for tom sweeping and outing, celebrated by Chinese, Koreans, and other Asian people. Number 4, the Neighbor Days. From the first day of May, Chinese have 5 days off. Number 5, the Dragon Boat Festival. 3 days off in June, celebrated with dragon boat races and stick rice dumplings. Number 6, Mid-Autumn Festival, also called Moon Festival. 3 days off in mid-September. September, families gather to eat mooncakes and admire the full moon. Number 7. The National Day, October 1st to 7th. 7 days off to celebrate the founding of the PRC. Remember, avoid these times to save money and skip the crowds.
This part of China is forbidden to foreign tourists, but it is one of the most popular tourist destinations for Chinese people. What's it like inside? Laojun Mountain is known as the first immortal mountain.
So this video is making it seem like the area is banned to foreigners because it's a sacred site. No. Laojun Mountain, which is incredibly beautiful, is located in Henan province, and in that same area, there is a rocket force base. Boop boop, base 66. So China's rocket force is divided into 6 bases. Bases 61 through 66, that's where launch brigades, support regiments are handled, just basic stuff. And then you have base 67, and that's where the nuclear warheads are held. There's also an engineering base in the area that was built there in 2012. It is incredibly beautiful, and it's important to Taoism. This is where Lao Tzu, the founder of Taoism, would go on retreat. But foreigners aren't allowed there because of national security reasons. There's plenty of other sacred sites where foreigners can party hard, just not the ones with bases.
In this video, we were learning about some of the basic etiquette and manners in China and what not to do. So number 1, do not tip. You do not need to tip in China, okay? So it might seem really strange for you Americans, but you know, unless you're in a really high-class restaurant or for exceptional service like a tour guide or a bellboy, then you do not need to tip in China. It's not the norm. So tipping in China is called 小费. Number 2, do not split the bill. Okay, so this might seem a strange one, but in China, you generally do not split the bill. So what happens is the person who invited you to dinner, they will pay for everything. What you can do is just next time you can treat them instead. However, amongst friends, or like the younger generation, millennials, Generation X, what we do nowadays is we all say, let's AA. So AA stands for split the bill. And what we do is just we get the bill and we split it evenly between however many people there were.
Wait, cheating on Chinese soldiers is actually illegal? Yeah, this is military marriage in China and it's protected by the law. So what happens if you cheat? Well, up to 3 years in prison, yeah. If another man tries to date a military wife, he can also be charged with sabotaging a military marriage. Imagine getting arrested for flirting. But why so serious? Because soldiers protect the country, so the government protects their hearts. If a soldier is heartbroken and distracted, how can he defend the nation, right? Wanna divorce the soldier? Not that easy. A military wife needs her husband's permission to file for a divorce, unless the soldier commits a grave mistake like domestic violence or adultery. But the perks are insane too. For example, free healthcare, housing benefits and special allowances, extra points for kids in college entrance exam, higher social status. Yeah, you cannot cheat and enjoy all those benefits at the same time, right? So would you want to marry a Chinese soldier after knowing about this? What do you think about this?
These are things that you should know as a foreigner. As a foreigner, you're going to have people staring at you. You're going to have, language barrier issues sometimes. You just need to know that you need to be patient and just be optimistic. Don't always think that somebody's out to get you whenever you're here in China, because back in your country, if somebody's staring at you, such as us, we're from America. In America, when people stare at you, it means they got a problem. It means they got some beef or something with you. But in China, it's totally different. Most of the time, since you're a foreigner, they're pretty much curious. And I kid you not, as soon as you smile and wave at them, they will just blush and have the biggest smile on their face. But if you look at them crazy, they're going to keep on looking at you crazy. But as soon as you smile at them and say ni hao, things become a lot easier and you actually get to see the real personality of that person.
Hello guys, I'm Ada. So if you ask me what should you not to do when you visit China, I would say the most important thing is don't import drugs into China, because if you bring like drugs into China got multiple ways to detect them. I heard a lot of stories. And also if you get like caught by police, because of drugs, you may never get out of the prison or sentenced to death, like possibly. So it's not a joke. China, like, it's the country with the strongest drug control in the world. So previously I still remember there was an Englishman, and that was charged, for carrying guns after the investigation, conducted. He was sentenced to death. And I still remember the Prime Minister of, the great, Britain was trying to save his life. It didn't work out. China insisted the judgment. So according to Chinese law, trafficking heroin and other drugs over 50 grams is already punishable for 15 years imprisonment or death. You heard me right, only 50 grams. In addition, marijuana and laughing gas are not considered legal in China as well. If you're Canadian, you may can smoke marijuana in your country legally, but carrying and smoking marijuana in China is not legal. I think most Chinese people hate drugs as well, and drug control in China is definitely not only a legal issue, it's more like a political requirement in China. So I just hope all of you can, know this before you come, before you visit, and be safe, everyone.
If you ever come to China, no matter where you go, if you find a temple like this, it's very important that you know you cannot step on to this thing, whether it's made out of wood, metal, whatever it's made out of. It's very important. No Chinese person will ever step on it, and they'll tell their kids off if they try to step on it. So you have to step over, and then when you leave, you have to step over again. Firstly, it's very rude in Chinese culture. Secondly, this thing represents your obstacles in life. And so if you step on the obstacle, it means you didn't get over the obstacle, if that makes any sense. Because the word for obstacle and the word for this basically sounds the same in Chinese. So never, ever, ever step on it. You're welcome.
Let's see if it's true about China.
Is it dangerous? Is it safe? Let's see.
We're putting it to the test.
So I've got a bag here, but I've got a half-drunk bottle of water, some tea bags in there, so it feels like some money and wallet. I don't know, but I'm gonna put it in there. Just leave it, and hopefully it'll be there when we get back. But I'm pretty confident, to be honest, it will be. No in China, but let's put it to the test.
We're just in the coffee shop ordering a drink, so we've got to say the time, so it's 2:32. As you can see, it's dark. We've literally been out all day, and it is nearly 7:10, as you can see on my phone. But it looks like the bike's gone.
Oh no.
No! Is it?
I can't remember where it was.
Oh no, there is a bike there. Oh my god. Let's go and check. Oh my god, I think it's there. No way!
No way!
No way!
Is there?
Is it?
There you go.
That is absolutely craziness.
That's madness.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't expect it to be there.
Bag, there's a bottle of water and some tea bags. So I knew if it got stolen, I wouldn't care so much. I would care because obviously
the video would have been ruined.
Yeah, I love China, and I don't want it to look bad.
I can't believe that.
But I can't believe it's there.
I'm actually really shocked.
One thing I will say is, right, can you imagine, we have travelled all over the world, right? Almost every country that would have gone missing. Almost every country.
We've been warned in most countries. Let us know down below, which country would you trust to leave a bag all day? I don't know how many hours we left it. 5 hours maybe?
Yeah, but look at it. No one's even opened it to see what's in there.
It hasn't moved.
It's heavy. I say there's a bottle of water in there. So
I can't believe it. I'm actually really shocked.
If you pick this up, you think, fuck, there could be gold in there.
The most dangerous place to be a pedestrian in the world is Shenzhen, China, as you can see behind me. Mopeds and motorcycles are allowed to drive on the sidewalks because the traffic and commercial traffic is so bad on the streets that they just allow all the motorcycles and two-wheel vehicles to be on pedestrian sidewalks. During the day, you can see them coming, but at night, it's dark, they can't see you, and these guys are flying at 20, 30 miles an hour on the sidewalk. You get hit by one of these motorcycles, it's not going to be, a good day for you. So if you're on a run or you're out, you gotta be completely paying attention, no earphones in, or you're gonna end up in the hospital. It's all over the city. I've, never seen anything like it. And then when people get off work, it's there's more motorcycles on the pedestrian sidewalk than actual people. And check out Shenzhen right now. beautiful, beautiful city. The skyline, it's huge compared to anything you would see back in the States. So follow me, Bitcoin Capitalist. I'm going to be checking out Bitcoin miners here, ATMs, and a couple factories.
Things I wish I knew before solo traveling to China for 2 weeks alone all by myself. Number one, if you're not going to like a touristy city like Beijing or Shanghai, don't expect people to know English because a lot of times they don't. Also with that, if you do speak Chinese, be prepared that there are accents in China. And I'm not talking about dialects. I'm talking about like, you know how like in the South they talk in a Southern accent and like in Jersey they talk in a Jersey accent? It's the same in China, and words that like I learned just as like an American speaker just sound different in different places in China. It really messed me up. Number three, I wish someone told me to look up foodie YouTubers because they know exactly where the best food is. You might as well just follow them and then you have the greatest time of your life. Number four, even small cities in China have like 1 million people in them and they're very cool.
Third, Chinese people don't really like to do small talks. So if you want to chat to people during a line for Starbucks, it would be kind of creepy. Fourth, unless there's a line outside, for most restaurants, you don't need to wait to be seated.
Here are things that you should know before you visit the country of China. Like when I came back, I was feeling so nostalgic. For a slight moment, I was like, yeah, maybe I should come back and, teach English, hope like a rabbit. But then I was like,
avoid these mistakes before you go to China. Number one, don't rely on Google Maps. Google hasn't updated any of their mapping data in China for the last couple of years. So when you go to China, you're going to have to download one of the two official apps, which is Baidu Maps or Gaode. Now, if you are an iPhone user, you can get away with using Apple Maps because they source their data from one of the local providers. But for everyone else, you're just going to have to download the official ones. Number two, don't rely on your current taxi app. So Uber, Careem, Grab, none of these work in China. You're going to have to download DD, which is the official local taxi app. Now, what's great is that they do support full English, including English names of destinations. And that way you can get around. They do support in-app payments, cash, everything like that, which is great. That's it for now. Follow for more. Peace.
Snap out of it. There are two types of people in China. There are those ones that are very kind. They will go far and beyond to help you. They will do anything possible out of their way, out of their schedule, out of their time to come and deal with your shenanigan. And there are also those ones who don't want to deal with your shit. And second, you're like, hey, excuse me, shifu ni hao. They're like, There's no in between. It's either they're willing to help you 100% or they just don't want to deal with you. Upon entry, they still have like this COVID restriction form. It's called a health form that you have to fill when you come in. So make sure you fill it in before you get to the airport. Because as soon as you get to your point of entry, they're going to ask you for this because it gives you a QR code. So they're going to ask you to swipe or scan this QR code. And if you don't have it, it's going to be very annoying because as you know, Chinese, they're not the most helpful people. They're always like, hey, the tourist places like the Band, the Wall, the Great Wall, those tourist places are going to be very crowded with Chinese and some foreigners. And if you're black like me with cornrows, everyone will just be wanting to take pictures with you because some of these people, it's kind of like their first time to see a black person and everyone wants to touch your hair. It's awkward if you're not accustomed to this kind of thing. I feel like the foreign community has reduced significantly since COVID. I came in March and it was really dead, especially, like within the international community. But now that I've come back in August, I feel like the international community has come back up. Like it's a little bit alive. New people have come to Shanghai. There are so many scholarships for all kinds of, African countries in different cities, engineering, medicine, business, etc. So do some research, look up what you qualify for, apply and wait for your luck. There's no anyakumanye. Just go on the internet and search. Let's say you don't get the scholarship. Universities here are still as affordable as Makerere, as UCU, because I remember when I studied here, I was not on scholarship, but it was almost the same money my sister was paying at MOOBS. Just, slightly higher. Before you all start asking me, what about jobs, whatever. Honestly, there's not a lot of jobs for Africans You just have to get here. As soon as you get here, how you're going to get here, that's between you and God. If you get here, you might get an opportunity, but unless you're like, nobody's going to import you all the way from Uganda, unless you're very, very qualified, you have like some PhDs and masters and stuff. And also it might be like international companies that are bringing you, not your regular schmegular Chinese company.
Here are Beijing, China's biggest travel scams. So this first one is called the tea house scam. It entails that you're walking down the street and a beautiful man or woman will come up to you saying that they want to invite you for a cup of tea. Note that most people are actually promoting a cafe. Once you go and place an order without seeing the menu, of course, that's when they decide to leave and exit a back room, and you're stuck paying more than $100 worth of yens. This scam has also happened a lot near the Forbidden City. Another huge scam is counterfeit cash. Chinese over the past years have realized that a lot of visitors actually don't know what a yen looks like. And when you get your change back, sometimes they will give you this counterfeit cash. Try to avoid shady streets and always buy from official stores. Also, in very popular markets, they usually don't scam there. Beijing is also known for having a lot of 5-star hotels. Because of this, a lot of hotels with no star service will offer really big discounts. They lure you in most of the time at the airport by telling you that yes, they are a good hotel, but they just don't have any stars, so you get a much cheaper price. Most of the time, they just end up bringing you to a hostel or a motel that's kind of icky. So like anywhere else you're traveling, make sure you know where you're going before you go. Pick out wisely off of the internet for official websites. Comment what city you want to see next and follow for more travel tips.
But yeah, ever since we've been in China, we haven't really had any racism issues. Now, we say that, but people who come here to work, people who come here to be a student, those people are going to have a totally different experience than us because we're entrepreneurs. We don't go to school. We don't go to work. We don't have to deal with Chinese people that we didn't expect to deal with. We can pretty much go out on the streets and decide whether or not we want any, confrontation with any Chinese person. Simply don't make eye contact if you don't want any confrontation with any Chinese person. But yeah, that's pretty much something that you should know. Another thing I would say is to make sure that you bring toilet paper sometimes when using public restrooms, like maybe at a mall or something like that, because a lot of times places like that, they don't have any toilet paper. But personally, when you go to hotels and stuff, a lot of the hotels on trip.com, they are verified to the point where you don't have to worry about them not having toilet paper and being, trash hotels, because a lot of times they have their own certifications to make sure that they can accommodate foreigners. That is why all hotels do not accommodate foreigners, because they just think that they're not up to par enough, and that's totally understandable. But yeah, that's pretty much what you guys should know. Just make sure you bring toilet paper and wipes whenever you go out. I don't think I can think of any more.
Is there something that was left out of this conversation that you can add? As a Chinese watching this, if you travel to China, tell us more. Tell us more. We want to know if there's something left behind. There is a part 2 that is coming where I will be speaking about the taboos, and they could also be part of the do's and don'ts in China. So I didn't want to bring those two together. It could be longer than this. Allow me to address this because I'm also a foreigner in an African country where everyone almost looks like me. Unless I tell you I am a foreigner, you want to know that I am one. But allow me to echo what this girl has said. In most cases, when you live in a foreign land, the perception of citizens of that specific country is always that you will be dragging behind us. We are the ones to pull you. You are a foreigner. How could you be having things that you don't have? So it's something that is natural in citizens of a certain country. If you're not that way, then yeah, you're different. But generally, that's what they think. But in most cases, unfortunately for them, for citizens, most people who leave their countries, they come for better opportunities. They come to better their lives. They come with a determination. They come because they were frustrated in their countries in one way or another. So they will be doing every effort to do the best, to give the best out of everything that they do. And that's where the conflict comes in. And this is where this thing that people are calling racism comes in. I don't want to focus on China right here. It happens in so many countries. Even in Africa, where I am right now, opposition that you face, you can only escape them if you are an entrepreneur, if you don't interact with people, if you're the boss, maybe if you don't look for a job, you'll be at peace with people. But if if you are out there hustling with like everybody else, you will face discrimination on another level. So that was it about this video. Like for recommendation, subscribe, share your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think about this video? Was it helpful to you? You can as well support the channel through the thank button down there. We are progressing well, and thank you so much for your love and support. I've gotten subscribers, new subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing to Comfort for Life. You will not be disappointed. I appreciate you. Goodbye for now.